All right, everybody, we're going to be doing a set of front and rear brake disc pads for a GLA 45 AMG 2015. First thing you're going to want to do is safely jack up the car and make sure that you secure the car safely. You'll need a 17mm socket to remove the wheels. When you do the front, you're going to want to make sure you turn the wheel as far outboard, and we'll show you which pins are going to come out. And before we start the job, you want to make sure that you take off the brake reservoir cap. As you said, we're going to be recompressing the pistons. We want to make sure any of the excess fluid, in case anybody's serviced it over time, the last thing you want to do is put enough pressure if they've over-serviced it to break the reservoir. So you do want to take the cap off from there. Okay, so we're back here changing the front pads. There's only a brake sensor on the passenger side caliper. There's not one on the driver's side. You'll see right here, to remove it, you'll actually just wiggle it there. You'll pull it out from that side, and you'll actually be able to take the assembly out from there. And we'll pull it out of there in a minute. On this brake particularly, to get the caliper off, there's actually only 2 pins. You'll see this pin right here, right in the front. You're only going to be able to get a pin or a punch. I just want to point the screwdriver. We're not going to use a screwdriver to knock it out, but that's one of the pins you'll knock out. The pin will go this way. The other one you're going to knock out is this lower pin right here. When you push this pin out, you'll knock out the pin here. If you needed to remove this, you could. You don't need to. It's a 10mm bolt. Right now, like I said, is we're gonna take these pins out, and then we'll come back and show you. You'll get a new sensor when you're replacing them. As you can see, it'll actually come out here from the connection point there, and this will actually get attached to the front brake pad. This pin is actually what'll tell you, it'll sit in there just to let you know how the brakes are doing. So short answer is you should replace it while you're changing the pad. It showed previous in the video, there's 2 pins that hold it all together. You'll need a pin punch to take this pin out on the top and a pin punch to take this pin out on the bottom. The pins go inboard. As you can see, we have the wheel turned to the right just to give us a little bit extra. When you pull the pin out, it'll release this clip assembly. We're gonna make sure we save that. They don't give you that or the pin replacements when you're changing them. As you can see, that one's out. We're gonna take the second pin out. And with that, we have the bracket and the 2 pins. We're going to keep those down, and we should be able to easily pull out the pads that are currently in there. So that's the outboard pad and the inboard pad. When you look to put the new pads in, these still had some pretty decent life left on them. There is a sensor that would actually be there in one of these holes, so they'd be very close to activating. We'll show you on the new pads to show you the direction of the pads. Okay, we'll continue with the brake pad installations. You'll see the actual pucks in here. They actually need to be recessed. These are the pucks that actually push on the pads. You want to make sure that both sides are recessed before inserting your new pads. If you don't do that, you won't be able to get the pads in. You also need to look at the direction of the pads. There are arrows on the pads. It's for the rotation of the wheel going forward. So in this particular case, this one showing forward will go on this side. And as I said, we've already reset the pucks. And this one will actually go in on this side. And the same thing with the pucks. We got the new pads in. We're putting the retaining bracket back in and the 2 guide pins. As we said, these were the pins we actually took out originally. So you have the one down there. You want to make sure it goes from the housing through the pad, through the bracket, through the next pad, and then through the other side of the housing. You'll also have another one up here. Same thing. You want to make sure it goes through there to get through the pad first. Then, of course, we want to make sure that it sits in front of the bracket, the pin. And then, of course, we'll show as we get final product, but you want to get through this one and then through the housing, and you'll have to tap these back in till these are both flush. So we've reinstalled the pins and the bracket. The last thing is going to be the sensor. The sensor actually will go into the caliper electrical connector like that. You should see this flange actually butt to the connector, so it's nice and tight in there. When you look here, you'll actually look at the caliper, the brake pad. If you look inside the brake pad, let me try to get a light in there. You'll see that little hole right there inside the pad. That's actually going to take this little pin from the sensor. And if you look at this bracket here, it's going to actually bolt right into the pad. So you want to make sure you line up your little hole, you don't break it. Then once you're aligned, you're going to push it all the way in. You should feel a positive snap, so it's all the way in. It's actually in the brake pad. It's sitting bottomed in the caliper. And then what we want to do is just take the sensor harness so it's not out there touching the wheel or rubbing anything. Just kind of put it in there in the bracket, and you're done.